This is PopImpressKA Journal, and guess what? We're here in exclusive interview with Mandy Esposito and in her private bedroom. So we're going to find out all the secrets behind this beautiful fashion icon at the 21st century. Mandy, it's such a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have you here as well. We've been talking about this for a while, and the day is finally here.
And I've learned so much about you that you've been working and you start up with FIT University, and I know you have a great background when you were growing up. Can you please tell me more about your family?
My family, well, my father is actually from Italy. He's from a small town on the southern coast by Amalfi called Conca di Marini. And when he came to this country, he met my mother, who's actually of Hungarian background. And the two of them have been together ever since they were children, and then I came along with my brother, so it's the two of us. My father was always into the arts. He was a very artsy person. My mother as well, believe it or not. She loved fashion design. She loved sewing. And, because she wanted kids and wanted to have us, of course, she had to go the safe route, and she did become a teacher. And my father is, in the artsy kind of business. He started in the restaurant business and then went into, he has an auto body shop now where he actually paints the cars and whatnot. So,
he does that.
Yeah.
That's such a masculine job for a man.
Very masculine job, and now my brother and him are in the business together. And
I know that you love color red.
It's my favorite color.
And I know you had that little secret about the little red Corvette.
That little red Corvette. Well, actually, my parents had the first one. My father, being the car lover that he is, bought the first one for my mom in 1974. So it was a Stingray. I love that car ever since I was little, and I finally got my own a few years ago. But the hurricane, as we all know, is Hurricane Sandy, destroyed my house and destroyed my home and took my car away. So he's rusting out in sea now.
And I know you're such a positive, inspiring person that when even the hurricane situations, you were tweeting and talking to people and actually exploding your emotions out there in a positive side because you didn't want to leave. Can you tell me what emotions went through your head when you saw this water was coming towards you?
Well, as you can see, as we sit here and see the water right in front of us, it was an unreal experience. It's actually, it still feels like a dream in a way because it was something that I never thought would hit us here in the New Jersey, New York area. I don't think any of us were prepared, and when it happened, you had this water come up as a rush. We had about 6.5 feet of water, destroyed my home, came right through, ripped the walls and the sheetrock right out. Cars were floating away, boats were coming off the docks and right into, our parking lots and our homes. And it wasn't even okay a day or 2 days later. I couldn't come back to my home until January of this year, 2013, and I only finally started repairing everything and finished about a week ago.
Oh my
God. I know we're in April.
And I know because your parents brought you up so humble and basically gave you such a strong bond of being the person that you are. Can you tell me who inspired you when you were growing up, and what did they taught you that you remember the most as a woman, as a designer, as a great professional leader as you are today?
Well, my mother and father always wanted me to take a safe route in life. They wanted me to be stable. They never wanted me to struggle, and they actually had said art was not the route you should go in. You should keep it a hobby. But of course, I didn't listen to them, and I wanted to take what I thought I did best and loved the best, and went, applied myself to different art schools. And when I did get accepted into FIT for fashion illustration, I said, this is where I really want to be. This is where I'm most happy. This is where I want to make a career out of my life. My parents, always were behind me no matter what, even though they weren't necessarily happy. They didn't understand. They still came from an old country, an old world where, jobs were jobs and art is still a hobby, as we both know as an artist. And, what they don't know is how you can turn it into a career nowadays. I chose fashion. Fashion was the one love that I had and one passion that I wanted to continue to explore. I loved drawing the figures. I loved still life. I just was immense when a model would come out and you would sketch them. So from that point, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. My parents stood strong behind me. They said, if this is what you want, we'll support you. And they always just said, never forget where you come from, because, don't let that red carpet stuff and all this flashy, glamorous life, or so people think. They just see the one side of us on camera. They don't see the hard work that goes in it, behind it, to get to those points. But, they definitely, I've listened to them, and I think that I've turned out okay thus so far.
And then to you, I know you are amazing with shirts and men's jacket, but you design also for both men and women.
I do. I have a background in women. I've designed corporately for women for the last, I would say, like 8-9 years. And then one of my first jobs with one of my first bosses, who I still work with in the production field now for Esposito, he started me in menswear. So I always liked it. I've always had a lot of guy friends, and my brothers and my cousins are all male, and they had said to me, we want to make sure, we want newness. We're tired of going to the racks and seeing not novelty goods and things that just don't look different. What do you have? And so I took that love of women's wear and combined it to men's wear. And you'll see in a lot of my pieces, I have princess seams. Who does princess seams in menswear? You don't. So different kind of starburst patterns. I took art, different things that I put on canvas or I drew, and I printed it on the shirts themselves to bring a whole new feel to a new contemporary look. So I have I don't know how many pieces, maybe 40-piece collection to start.
Amazing.
And I feel like my customers have been really happy with what I have thus so far.
So tell me more about you going to Europe, because I know you have your collection very heavily in Norway.
Norway. I have a lot of fans in Norway. Hi. Thank you guys for believing in me and buying my product. But Norway, Russia, I was featured in Ukraine magazine. We just hit England as of a week or 2 weeks ago.
Amazing.
The southern end of that area, and we're going into other countries. We were just published in Hungary, and that's kind of cool because I'm half Hungarian, and I'm working on many other areas right now. And just a month ago, we opened our first store in Romania.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Now, have you traveled to those countries by yourself, or have you been with your parents?
No. Italy. I've been to Italy, yes. Italy. But I can't wait to go back. I want to go to Europe and explore everything. It's just that work binds you to one area, which is New York, and you have to do your duties here first before you can go to other areas. But that is on my to-do list. And hopefully summer. So and then as an artist, what do you think is the most signature that you can bring up to the couture, to the fashion of men, to the women out there, of the new generation? Because we all like new looks, and I've seen your shirts and I've seen your dresses, and they're amazing and they're very fresh, something that people really need. Well, then I really can't tell you my secrets, can I?
But we have to know.
But, well, I think that I always said as a designer, what makes you different? Because you're asked that a lot. What makes you different than most designs or most clothing that's out there? And you know what? It's the novelty, and it's the little things that really count. It's the button detail, or it's the placement of the seams on an item on a shirt. What color do you do the stitching? What's on the flip side of your collar? Do you have nice collar tabs? So you'd have to think about all the little areas that maybe one doesn't look at when you go to the store, but someone who is deep and knowledgeable in fashion is definitely going to look for these areas and make sure you have them covered. So I do pay close attention to the details, the novelty pieces of the item, just what can strike out different than most. My signature color is red, as you brought up. So in every item there is either a label or a lining of red cohesively, either on the collar, the inside of the placket, the back neck area. So if you do see something around floating with red, you'll probably know it's Esposito.
That's fabulous, actually, line that you call it Esposito. And I saw the bull on it. Can you tell me what it represents and why the bull?
Strength and dominance. But I'm actually a Taurus. My birthday was just April 20th.
Amazing.
So I wanted to make sure that if it was my line, not only my name, my family's name, to be honest, it also, the logo symbolizes me as well. So we came up with the bull, because not only is the bull a Taurus, but it symbolizes dominance and strength. It's also signified and linked to red, and red is my signature color. So I felt like it just worked. The package was just, it was perfect.
And then from inspiration that you drawn from the back, who would be the artists that you always followed, and who would be the designers that you always looked up into?
Well, one of my favorite is actually Bob Mackie, and I know I've always loved Cher and the elegance of long gowns and beadwork, and he has a lot of detail and a lot of creativity that went into each outfit that he designed. I mean, he personally designed for how many movie stars and different song artists, and there was more than just making a dress. Like it was unique to each person he made it for. Versace, always known to be flashy and glamorous and over the top, and I'm inspired by people that really push the envelope and push the notch, because you see it's inspiration on the runway, and then you take it and you say, how can I convey this into a line that's more contemporary and wearable to the US or the European or worldwide market.
And I would enjoy wearing it.
Right, and as a new designer, an emerging designer I should say, I still credit and always acclaim, I always look forward to their runway shows to see what they do for the next season and see where their trend in mind is going. I think that's where I pull a lot of my inspiration and ideas from as well.
That's amazing, and I know also you design for live celebrities.
Yeah,
so just name us a few that you're working with as of now and you did before, and tell me about your experience with them.
To be honest with you, you would think I've met all of them, but it's not as easy, because sometimes they're in LA, we're on this coast, they need things within a couple of days or 2 weeks, and you think to yourself, oh God, how can I get it to them that quickly? So it's actually, I don't necessarily meet them, but I do talk to their publicist or them on the phone.
What was your very first celebrity that you worked with?
You have me stumped. I have to really think now. Well, Joe Piscopo was one of my first, I would say, because he actually came to my first fashion show and he loved the whole line, and I dressed him for a few comedy shows that he had.
And where was
from New Jersey, so
that's and you're from New Jersey, as well. And where was your first collection? How was the launch of your first experience?
The first I was at New Jersey Fashion and Beauty Week. That was my first runway show with Esposito. I've done shows before that, but they weren't my brand, of course. They were corporate companies that I had worked for. But this past September, which Elena was at, I know unfortunately you couldn't attend, but it was the yacht party where I had for New York Fashion Week on the Hornblower Cruise Line.
Wonderful.
And we set sail on September 10th at 6 p.m. It was a beautiful night. The weather was perfect. The Freedom Towers were in the background. I had Whitney Thompson from America's Next Top Model there. Eric was there. A few other people and magazine editors. It was just a perfect night. Of course, I didn't get to enjoy it because I was too busy sewing buttons backstage and making sure the models weren't going off and partying with the crazy crowd. But they did a great job. I couldn't ask for a better night. It was a little rocky on the waters. Made for a fun runway event. We were playing a game. I think the crowd was playing a game, which model would topple over first. But they all did great, and I was satisfied. I really was. It was a really exciting first, Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week experience. And that really launched my line. That really was when boutiques and buyers started calling me, and I got to dress more celebrities. So it was fun.
It was great. And then now, if you would choose celebrities, which is your most favorite you would love to work with? The one that if you would have a choice.
Right. I want Ashton Kutcher, Zac Efron, Brad Pitt, if you're watching, you can call me. No, but George Clooney would be fantastic. I would love to do a suit for him for one of his premieres. I do, and one thing that I do enjoy dressing, my number one fan that I'm working on is Bon Jovi.
Oh, really? You do?
Yes.
That's real love, Bon Jovi.
Being from New Jersey, and he was probably the first album my mother ever bought for me, and I was just in love, and I still am to this day with him, his music, the whole genre. I think me being from this area, country, but I want to dress music artist. I love the relation music to art to fashion. Yes, I love your red carpet film premieres and movies and whatnot, but being that I have a certain license that I can freely talk about, I have the license for Elvis Presley, so we do a lot of his items. I do his t-shirts.
Amazing.
He's always been an inspiration and an idol to me and my family. We've loved Elvis since we were kids. And just the fact that I now can take his image and creatively put him into fashion is, sometimes I still can't believe it. I'm in shock, but it's doing really well. People are really grabbing onto it. I want to bring an era that is in the past and bring it to today's market, because I know I'm not that old, but the new generation really doesn't know who these artists from the 50s were, unfortunately, and they have to know, they should know. So now you see a lot of this older retro music from the 50s and the 60s being remixed by new DJs into today's contemporary 2012-13 market.
And they work well together.
Right, and all of a sudden, you have a new contemporary designer and you have a rock artist, a legend, in the Hall of Fame, and I feel like I'm giving back also to the music community, and I want all your singers and artists now to, latch on to what really started rock and roll. And
do you think Elvis Presley was ultimate king of rock and roll?
Yes.
You think he was the number one?
I do.
Now, how did you ever come across Elvis Presley? What was your first memory that you had, like, that wow factor? I can't believe this artist, and he was totally loved like so many people out there.
Well, my parents always used to bring my brother and I and my family, my cousins, to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We had a condo down there, and all the time, I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was the Shell gas stations. Remember they had the cassettes from the 50s and the 60s, and you would go get gas, and if you filled up with so much money, you could buy this cassette for like $3.99 or whatever it was back then. And I remember, you had all these classic, songs on there by all your different artists, and Elvis was one of them, and I just always loved it. And my cousin is a singer, Mandy Esposito, so he's actually has his album cut. Him and his brother are cutting an album now. They've sung at my fashion shows before, and they've done my runway song, You Look Good. He's been singing Elvis since he was a kid, maybe like 6 years old at the restaurants, and everyone always loved him. So it was a family thing. We all really
loved it.
Yeah.
Now, have you been to the mansion?
Because I was supposed to go, and I for some reason I just couldn't get down there at that time, but I am planning this summer to go.
And then if you would have a dinner with Elvis privately, what 3 questions you would ask him?
Oh.
That you would want to know about him?
Well, they think he's still alive down there, but, but, oh gosh, okay, well, coming from a background that he did, because we all know he grew up in a small town house, lost his brother at a young age. What did it feel like to just turn into stardom? I know there's things written, and they did interview him, but it's coming from him personally. That would be wonderful. What influenced his style, because he had an iconic style that everyone knew that was in Elvis Presley style until the 70s hit and he was in Vegas. And the third question. Are you single? No, I'm kidding. His life, like
his life story.
His life story.
Are you single?
Me?
Yes.
Yes.
You are. Now, as far as dating, do you meet a lot of people? I'm sure, and I'm sure a lot of you're a beautiful woman. So a lot of people get attracted to. What is the ideal for you in a man that you would always want to have the right person for you, for example?
I knew this question was going to come up. Well, I think that my man may not exist out there, but if he does, just someone who's dedicated to their life and their job, someone who knows what they want in life. I feel like you need a positive person behind you or with you, because if you don't have that, or if someone's not at that right point in their lives, they're not going to be the best influence on you, and you don't need anyone to drag you down. So, but right now I'm happy just working hard and doing my thing, going to the next level, achieving all my goals. I feel like I don't want a distraction, but if it was a distraction, it would have to be the right person.
And then I know there are a lot of kids out there and they look up to you as a role model. What do you think you would suggest them? Because I know you went through a lot of experiences.
And I'm still going through them.
And you're still going through them.
It's still a rocky road.
What do you consider being rocky? What would tremble your ability of kind of be in the sense of direction? Because I know you go through a lot of photo shoots. I know you're dealing with models, with male and female. There are a lot of going on in your world.
Right.
How do you think that will be all combined to a sanity that you go through every day of your life?
Well, you know, you never know what's going to happen the next day. Sometimes you try to have an agenda where you're scheduled and your meetings are, you know, here, but you can't predict when a photographer is going to come to America next, or the models get booked out of nowhere on different projects, and you always have to work around their schedule. Myself, you know, if I have a buyer that calls me, you have to really be at their beck and call, because they're your fans, they're your customers, they're the people that are putting you on the map. So, you know, you always have to put these people first in your lives before you have a personal life, because that's the only way a business becomes a success. It's hard work and dedication, and just never letting the ball drop. And by that I mean, once you're on a roll, you have to just keep that, you have to keep it in the air. If you don't, things drop and you have to just start again from the ground up. And you always have to make sure you're still out there networking. That this doesn't sound right, be in the spotlight, that's not the exact word I'm trying to say.
Have you been like going from one moment to another, like, you know, you would go all the way up and then all of a sudden you drop yourself down?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, you
like
know,
you have
people
to regulate yourself.
Right, and I'm not a star. I'm the designer that dresses the stars. That's what I want to be known for, you know, if not now, one day. But I see what they go through, because now that you work with these people hand on hand, and I even see from my own models, you have weeks that the work is just there, and you don't get a break. You cannot stop, and you can't, because if you sleep, they always say you sleep when you're dead, because if you sleep, you'll miss that one opportunity, and if you miss that one opportunity, it affects everything else for you. Go forward with either that production artist or whoever it is that you're with. But you know, then after that crazy week, you have these other weeks that are just a really low, meaning nothing's going on. People work so hard the week before that this second week is now, you're not getting phone calls. People aren't emailing you back. The models or yourself aren't having the jobs. You can't get a photographer because they're traveling. And you get these highs and then you get these lows. So I know, not that I should be speaking on other people's behalf, but even as a designer, you know, I go through what people sometimes in Hollywood go through. Think about people being on top of you all the time, hair and makeup. I can't even sit still for a half hour. So getting this done today was, you know, a little bit of an anxiety attack, because I'm not one to just sit there. If I'm not on my phone, or I can't see my phone or go to the computer and see emails that are coming through, you know, it takes over my life. But that's what happens when you run a business, and you have all these different crannies that you have to take care of all the time.
And I've seen you having this wonderful shoot for Elvis Presley collection. There was beautiful shirts and the models.
Oh, my lookbook shoot.
Yes, that was great. Can you tell me more about it? And was it your favorite location, or how did it come together for you?
Well, this was for in Brooklyn. We did the shoot in Brooklyn. I wanted an urban, you know, a lookbook shoot is very simple. It's not like the editorials that we do. I do editorials almost every, Vital, my Russian photographer. He's amazing. He's done Fashion Week, he's on Fashion TV, he's one of the best photographers in Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, so a lot of his work is publicized. He has a really strong wedding market. He did my editorial with some of the top models from around the world. We had one from France, we had one from Brazil. The other was actually American, the girl was from Romania. And that photo shoot in Brooklyn, one of the locations was Dumbo before we moved into the West Village in New York City. It was just incredible. And we got picked up in Russia and Ukraine right away. They just loved how it looked. And we had the one shoot where he was walking on the cobblestone roads with the guitar. So we had the influence of music in there with the clothing. It was beautiful editorial. Do you
have anything that you like to wear? Like, do you like dresses? How do you dress up when you go to couture or you go everyday life? What would be your fashion style?
I love dressing up, because when you dress up, you take on the image of someone else. You can pretend to be someone for the day. And how do you do that? You do that by hair, makeup, and your choice of clothing. So, you know, one day I want to feel like a biker, chic 80s style or 90s, you know, so I'll wear like the lace leggings and my cut-off ripped jeans. I know it's crazy. Some people would never dress like that, but I think it looks great on certain people, and, you know, it's just a fun trend to follow. But other times I'll want to be super conservative. Sometimes I'll look like a CIA agent and walk, you know, wear a suit with a white button up in Oxford to a meeting. So I have different personalities, different moods. I wake up that next day and I just don't know who I want to be that day.
That's fantastic. It's like you reinvent yourself almost every single day.
Right. And I actually, I have so many ideas in my head for a new line and a new inspiration. It's just you really need to focus and come to one or combine two areas so that you're not over the top and you don't overwhelm yourself. But I have something, and I know this collection that you're working with right now, or that is in stores, is a very 50s, 60s inspired, contemporary, wearable menswear line. I definitely want to bring in other eras go forward. I think it'll be fun. I think that, you know, fashion is a ever evolving, just
reinventing over and
it's
over and
art.
over again.
It's creative. It's art. Anything works. It's just how can you make it work that the customer will buy it, because we're so creative and we're so out there. Not necessarily everyone can agree with us.
Right.
It's a very opinionated market, so you have to have that happy medium to appease your customers, but make sure that you're doing what you want and make yourself happy at the same time.
That's great. And I know you have beautiful paintings. I know you paint very well. You have sketches and in charcoal. Can you tell me, like, when did you start and how did you get the inspiration for that?
I've been drawing and sketching as a child. I remember in preschool, I was never satisfied with just one project. I would nudge the teacher for another one. My mom said that was one of those annoying kids in class, that I would just never be satisfied with just one project. I would always just finish the first one and always want to go on to the next one. I always excelled in the arts. I was a very creative kid. Call me odd. I was probably the weird kid in school.
Was it hard for you in school, by the way? Was it a difficult time with other kids, or you blended
No,
with
I
them?
just never really, I never really hung out with many people. I always kept quiet, believe it or not, and did my own thing. And I think school for us back then was a little different than how it is now. I mean, don't forget, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have social media.
No, nothing like that.
I think AOL had just started and computers were just beginning. So it was a different era back then. I think that, you know, we still went to people's houses and had play dates, and now kids are text messaging each other or, you know, going to these crazy concerts that we really didn't have back then. And
that's exactly it.
so I think just the whole lifestyle in general was different, and people, you know, people socialized with each other, which I did. You know, you had your play dates at people's houses, but, you know, I always did keep to myself too. I would draw alone, and I was always a hard worker. I started working at 14 with my dad, so.
That's amazing. And then right now, like, your parents, are they behind you? Like, what would be like your ideal time with them? Do you spend a lot of time with your family?
I try to. You know I didn't get home this weekend, but usually I'll go home. Or my dad works not far from here, so I'm always visiting him at work when I can. So.
And you have siblings?
I have one younger brother.
Younger brother.
Yeah.
So were you like an older sister would teach him all the tricks about girls, or what was like?
Not at all. Not at all. He's still a weirdo.
But do you have a close relationship with all your family?
Yes, yeah.
Good.
And my cousins and we still go out all the time. And we try to, whoever's here in this area, we always try to stay together.
That's wonderful. And I want to thank you very much.
Thank you.
Been a wonderful, inspirational situation and experience for us. And I know that models are getting ready right now to jump in.
They're all over the place. You can't see from the camera, but...
Now, what's your secret that you would like to share with the audience?
My secret?
Yeah, because we're on your bed right now. And, you know, this is like the private area that you let us in, and actually your home. We want to say thank you.
You're very welcome.
To be in your private home here exclusively. Now, what is the secret that you would love to share with people out there about you that nobody knows, but you would love them to know for the person that you are?
I live openly. I really don't have that many secrets. But, you know, I just want to say that, you know, we always say in fashion, image is everything.
Right.
And it is. Because you can fool a lot of people that way, or dress a certain part take on a certain role. That's what I get hired to do sometimes, to dress these people for certain occasions or certain events and take on a different genre or type of a person. But don't always believe what you see.
Exactly.
And I do want to say that in the most honest way possible, because I know the world is infatuated with celebrities and what they do, and red carpets and how glamorous they look, and oh gosh, they're so perfect. But little do the people out there know what really goes on behind the scenes. And by that I mean makeup artists. You know, it may not necessarily be surgery, so that, you know, people don't know what goes on with the makeups and the fillers and how you can treat those things, make yourself look differently when you have great, you know, makeup artists. So just always stay true to yourself, and, you know, take what you see as a grain of salt, because it looks great, and we're working here to give off a certain vibe and a certain image, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's always real life. So people should always focus on being them and use us and use what they see in Hollywood and this whole glam fashion lifestyle as an inspiration and treat it as such.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much. This is Mandy Esposito for PopImpressKA.
PopImpressKA.
Thank
you, Olga.
Mandy Esposito and her wonderful crew of models. They're gorgeous. And I know it's been a very interesting ride for you to work with Mandy. So I want you to name your name, each of you, and tell us how it was an experience and what did you learn from all that experience. So now we go around with this beautiful gentleman.
Hi, Joseph Marvullo. Working with Mandy has been an amazing experience. The first shoot I ever did with her was for her website as her cover model. Got a chance to got a chance to try on pretty much everything that she has. I love the fit, I love the way it felt, and I love the way I felt when I was wearing it. So it's been a great ride with her so far.
So flattered.
Oh my God. And you're in her bed right now.
Yes.
Like a
The first shoot that the designer gets to model as well.
That's amazing. And
my name is Stephanie Damiano, and working with Mandy is an amazing experience. I mean, she's just as beautiful on the inside as she is on the outside. And her clothes really portray her beauty too. I mean, she makes her men look beautiful, as you can all see. And I really think that it's important for Mandy in her company to express herself, which she really does, and all her beauty shines throughout her clothing and her photography, everything.
thank you very much. And David, you're right behind there.
My name is David Charles, and I've been working with Mandy for a few months now. It's a real joy to work with somebody who's so intelligent and tenacious in really all of her efforts. And she's just a fantastic creative mind, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the progression of Esposito collection.
Go around the circle.
My name is Jennifer Castellanos, and I've been working with Mandy for a pretty long time now, and I'm glad I was able to meet such a great person. She has a great personality, and she has gotten this far, and I'm sure she'll get even further.
Hey, it's Jonathan Davis, and been working with Mandy now for about 2.5 years. And the best thing I can say about Mandy is her style. Like, she has a classy, fresh freshness about her style, and it's just a true pleasure. I mean, just to walk around and have fun and do what we do.
Well, I'm Liv, and I just met Mandy about a week and a half ago, I'd say, and she's made me feel more at home here almost than anyone else I've met.
I'm Bryan Feiss. I've been working with Mandy for about 3 months now. Love being in her clothes. She makes great clothes. Besides that, she's really super sweet. She's very thorough and a very hard worker. I really appreciate working with her.
Adri Enne, and I have been working with Mandy for a long time. Not only am I happy to call her a friend, but she is an inspiration. I love working with her. I always look forward to a shoot, and I'm sure I'll be working with her a lot in the future.
Hi, my name is Jessica Markowski, and one thing I have to say about Mandy is that she's one of my closest friends, and she inspires me as a person, and she just motivates me that much further, and she's helped me along in the process. And her collection, it makes designs in general make people feel beautiful, but to make men feel beautiful is just, she's able to captivate that audience too. It's really nice.
Hi, I'm Brendan Amoruso, and I've been working with Mandy for about 2.5 years. And to see her progression and her passion, really inventive, taking her runways from just a small trade show to a boat around Manhattan during Fashion Week. Excuse me, a yacht. We partied on the yacht, and that was the first time to do so for this city, and for her to really put her name down. Yeah. And we didn't fall so far. But as far as everything else goes, she's just a wonderful person, and brings our whole crew together and makes us feel comfortable as models and people.
And now we're here in this special setting with Mandy. So Mandy, what are your 3 wishes?
My 3 wishes.
Well,
I think wish number 1 has been accomplished today with having the most gorgeous people surrounding me on my bed. I mean, a second wish would ultimately to be, financially stable and able to grow this line and this company to an empire. That is my dream. That is my goal. I know with that, many other wishes will follow. So that is certainly one thing that is important to me. And thirdly, that I'm always happy and healthy. Because without that, you can't have life.
That's right.
PopImpressKA!